Welcome to the PrepZone Show, sponsored by Bevill State. I'm your host, Johnathan Bentley, joined by my co-host, Zak McCullough. Zak, we're down to the nitty-gritty here in football, high school football.
Yeah, in high school football, got 4 teams left.
Yes, we had 6 last week, so 4 advanced.
That's
4 out of 6.
4 out of 6 ain't
67%, pretty much. Yeah,
Good math.
Not bad. Yeah, I do remember fractions, only the big ones like that. All right, so we'll jump right to the games here. Winston County 56, Cold Springs 34.
Cold Springs, they got put in this position at the last second when Coosa Christian forfeited a bunch of their games. And then they showed up and they really gave Winston County a good game. So Cold Springs deserves a lot of credit, but Winston County's a juggernaut. They just completely outmatched Cold Springs.
Yes.
So Winston County cruised to not so easy a victory, but it wasn't terribly close.
Well, it was 50. They had 50 at halftime. And Cold Springs, it reminds me a lot of the Addison game, kind of, which we'll talk about in a second. So, yeah, Winston County moves on. It's no surprise. Cold Springs, they played them twice. And, this was I think the first time was 26-7. This was a completely different game. But that was early in the season.
That's true.
All right, a game that was tighter than the score. Corner 49, Lawrence County 35.
Yeah, it was tied at 28 in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
But everybody knows now that seeing Corner the past few weeks, you have to be up by at least 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to have a shot. Because Corner's good at coming back, and when it's tied at the end of the third quarter, you can basically forget about it. Corner is a very clutch football team, and that showed up. But like with Cold Springs, give Lawrence County credit because they really played well.
Yeah, I mean, this was a team that was drilled by Jasper the week before. And their quarterback was out in this game. Wow. This was Lawrence County, that guy's first start. So it kind of makes you wonder how this guy wasn't starting, A, because he had a great game. And B, I guess they had no film of this guy.
I reckon not.
So, maybe that worked in Lawrence County's favor. But like you said, I mean, they pull away at the end. They have had so many games. Almost every game that matters has been like this. But they do it again. I mean, that's why they have 10 wins this year. Another 10-win team, Lynn, 35, Cherokee 0.
Yeah, you had said off the air, Lynn, they're in the playoffs and even in the regular season, they're not going to absolutely demolish you. It's not going to be close either. They're just going to cruise.
Yes.
And that's what they did this time. 35-0 over Cherokee. Cherokee, in reality, was just happy to be there. And credit to Lynn, they didn't hang 70, which they could have, I'm sure, with their firepower. Was very respectful by Mark Hastings, kind of kept a lot of the exotic parts of the offense to himself. So, really a calm and cool game.
Yeah, it's very business-like.
Yeah, business.
It's not like Winston County. It's very different, and they're both very good teams, and they play different type deals. But Lynn just they just jump on you, and you never come back. That's how they do it. A game you went to, probably the best game of the week, along with that corner game. Meek 14, Hubbardville 8.
That's right, Hubbardville. They were coming off of a big win over undefeated Hackleburg. Yes. And it makes you think maybe Hubbardville used everything up when they beat Hackleburg. But that's a question for another time. Hubbardville, you'd think if they'd have played like they did against Hackleburg, they should have beaten Meek badly. But Meek's a very good team, and they don't get a lot of credit for that. But that's their 8th consecutive win. Started the season 0-3. They're 8-3 right now. And the Meek defense just absolutely suffocated Hubbardville. The Meek line, the offensive line, was better than Hubbardville's defensive line, and Meek's defensive line was better than Hubbardville's offensive line. And Hubbardville has a lot more depth than Meek. I mean, the roster size for Hubbardville is a lot larger than any 1A team that you're going to find. Wow. So definitely an impressive win for Meek.
And it's funny what you said, because Evans thought they matched up. Coach Evans thought they matched up well because of the lines, and I guess he was right.
It was absolutely right.
So, maybe it was a matchup problem there, but big win for Meek. We both got that one wrong.
We did. We both got
yes.
Glad to get that one wrong.
Yes.
This week for Meek's going to be even tougher, but we'll get to that
definitely.
in a minute.
We got this one right. Berry 54, Addison 38.
Yeah, Berry's a really, really good football team. They are 10-1 on the season. Addison, for a lot of other teams, this would be a good season, what Addison had. But by the Addison standards, it was a little bit of a disappointment. They'll wrap things up 6-5. They fought Berry close, and they did keep it close. But Berry's a really good team, and the Wildcats could make a long run in the playoffs. Yeah,
it was kind of like Winston. I think it was 30-8, and then Addison, you fall down 3 touchdowns to Berry. Yeah, a team with that kind of firepower, it's going to be hard to come back. And the last but not least, Brooks 38, Dora 7.
Yeah, Brooks.
Dora 7.
This was kind of a matchup problem because Brooks was in a phenomenal region, and they were a 3 seed. Dora was in a region that's tough at the top, soft at the bottom. We're a 2 seed, but Brooks was just the better team. And that's all we got to say there. Brooks wins very big. Kind of a disappointing season for Dora, but I'll say this. Jaden Griffin, just a phenomenal year. Phenomenal.
Yeah, I hate that wraps up his high school career. Yeah. I think he finished right at 2,400, over 2,400 yards. But yeah, Brooks is just, that's a tough draw in the first round. Really tough. That's why you have to win the region. Good Hope was the only team in that region to win, and that was close. It was a 3-point game. All right, so we'll jump to Players of the Week. We had some really ridiculous stats here. I mean, for the playoffs especially. I guess we'll start with Clemens for Winston County, Chris Clemens. 408 yards. I mean, that is counting rushing and receiving. So he went over 1,000 for the season in receiving, and I think he's 4 short in rushing.
Well, he'll hopefully get that this week.
I don't know if we've ever had a guy do both.
It's
hard to get 1,000 receiving yards.
It's hard to get 1,000 receiving yards, but he's got a good quarterback. He's got a good offensive line. He's really just got a good entire team because Winston County is a juggernaut.
Yes.
Looking at this, 408 yards of total offense and 6 touchdowns against Cold Springs. He ran the ball 7 times for 280 yards. That's 40 yards a carry.
Oh, my God.
5 touchdowns, 3 receptions for 128 yards, and another touchdown.
Yes. I mean, everything's big time. God. Every play was just huge. And he took the first snap of the game, lined up at quarterback, and goes, how long was that? 58 yards right there. I mean, it set the tone. So, I mean, you have 2 carries for 128 yards. That's a pretty good for a seat.
That's pretty good
game. Very good. But Winston County just keeps on doing what they're doing. I mean, that's 1,000 yards and 12 touchdowns receiving this year. That's all state numbers already. I mean, if you ever get double digits in touchdowns, that's pretty much a lot done deal. But 1,000 yards, just incredible. Speaking of incredible, Spencer Unruh returned. It was out 2 games, maybe a little bit more than 2 games. Maybe it was 2.5. But comes out, rushes 31 times.
Yeah, you got your star player coming in off of an injury. Usually handing it off 31 times doesn't work. That's just the general statistic. But Spencer Unruh is no general running back. He's very talented, and his coach knows he can rely on him. 31 rushes for 327 yards and 4 touchdowns.
327.
And 3 of those touchdowns came in the fourth quarter.
Yes, 152 yards in the fourth quarter alone. He had a carry at the end there where they ran into him at the 25, I believe. He carried them to the 7-yard line. It was just a mass of people. And I guess his legs kept going.
The whole way, just dragged him the whole way.
Yes, very impressive. And that was at the end of the game. You're like, man, does this guy ever get tired? So he was glad to be back out there. Game you saw, Hunter White had a pretty good game.
He did, and he's going to finish 3rd in our Player of the Week standings. And the other week, he'd have a very good shot at being at the top. 25 rushes, 174 yards, and 2 touchdowns. The only 2 Meek touchdowns. And that's going up against a really good defensive Hubbardville team.
Yes. Yeah, that was very impressive. That you put that many yards on the ground. Also need to mention corner had 497 rushing his team.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, man. I mean,
why not 500?
If they'd have known, would they have ran one more time?
Probably.
All right, so we'll jump into this week's games. A very light schedule, 4 games. 3 of those at home.
That's true.
So you have a great chance to go watch a football game this weekend.
Yes, go to Corner, go to Winston County, go to Lynn, go somewhere to watch these guys. Yes. Because in the playoffs, you never know if something crazy could happen, and then that's the end of the season, and you don't have another chance to go watch them.
I will say, the time I was at Lynn last week, a train did not go through.
Well, that's disappointing.
But I left maybe 3rd quarter, so it could have happened.
Got to stay for the whole game.
Maybe they'll have 2 trains come through this time.
Make up for it.
Yes. So we'll start with 5A Boaz 9-2, the Pirates, I believe, at Corner 10-1.
Yeah, the Boaz Pirates are a really good football team. But here's something you got to learn: never bet against Corner, because, like I said, if you only have a 3-touchdown lead in the fourth quarter, you might get beat because you can never count Corner out of a football game. They've got Spencer Unruh running the ball. I'm very confident that the Yellow Jackets can put together a really good game here and get the victory.
Yes, I picked Boaz. I mean, I have no reason.
I'm disappointed.
I don't know. I mean, you said don't bet against them. There's no money on the line.
That's true.
Okay. I'm technically. I just don't. I don't know. I just maybe I'm motivating Corner.
I hope
hopefully.
You are.
Yes.
I hope you are.
Because, I mean, they've done this they come back every single week. Boaz is really good, 9-2. They're in a region that's pretty tough too. Corners was really tough.
Corners
that prepared them.
Region.
Yeah. I mean, that we thought they would be the region champ. No, going into the season.
No. But here's the thing. Corners only lost to Briarwood Christian. Looked very bad because Briarwood started out 0-5, but they closed things out on a 5-game winning streak.
Had Briarwood just won one of those, I think that would have made noise in the playoffs.
Oh, definitely. They have the right kind of momentum. Yeah. But they finished 5-5.
I know that start killed them.
At the time, the loss that Corner took to Briarwood looked really bad. Doesn't look so bad now.
No. Yeah. And that was a homecoming. I'll call that homecoming fluke.
Homecoming
one
of
those games where
it
just never happened. In Briarwood, yeah. If they had been the 4, that was a really good region. So we're disagreeing on that one. I really have no reason to pick Boaz. I mean, it's at Corner.
Then why did you pick Boaz?
I don't know. I just feel like eventually something. I don't know.
Eventually, Corner,
maybe they can't come back.
Eventually, something. Well, I mean, that could always happen, and they do kind of play with their food a lot. It's really close at times when it shouldn't be. But hopefully they get this done, and I have every confidence.
It's funny I say that they're 10-1.
They are 10-1.
It's a 10-1 team, and really good at home. And I think. Yeah, this is like, I know Coach was like, well, we keep talking about first. Yeah, It's kind of like Winston County, never done this, and this. But yeah, Corner in the third round would be incredible. You imagine this will be a huge crowd, by the way.
Oh, my goodness. It will.
And parking, not great. Get there early. You will be parking by the street.
You get there early.
It's a long walk.
Don't want to ride the country roads in the dark. So get there. Get there really early. You can enjoy the pregame festivities and all that.
Yes, I'm not even talking about the Boaz people. I guess they'll bring some, but Boaz Corner will be packed.
Anybody that can go to the second round of the playoffs is going to have great fan support.
Yeah, so. And Corner has Spencer Unruh. Need to go watch him because he is special. This guy cannot be tackled. All right, so second game, Vincent at Winston County, the Battle of the Yellow Jackets.
It is the Battle of the ranked Yellow Jackets, too. Vincent is 10th in Class 2A. Winston County is 5th. Vincent is a really, really good football team. For those fans, I'm sure it's a shame that their season's going to end because I really think it will. Winston County should win this one fairly easily. High-scoring game, kind of like last week.
This reminds me of Boaz. It's two teams we've never seen around here.
I know.
We have never had a team play Boaz as long as I can remember, or Vincent. So I'm going Winston County, but hopefully they jump on them and keep their foot on the gas. Yeah, they'll have to do that. They kind of they just messed around really last week. I think everybody played. It's one of those kind of deals.
Right.
But Vincent coming to Winston County, that's going to be tough. Another huge crowd. These games are all going to be packed.
Oh, especially.
So, yeah, we're both going Winston County on that one.
You mentioned a good crowd. This next game will have a phenomenal crowd.
Appalachian at Lynn. Appalachian.
It's not Appalachian. It's Appalachian.
Have you talked to them?
No, I haven't.
But yeah, okay. The Appalachian Mountains.
I thought it was Appalachian. But
yeah, I think you're right.
We're going to disagree on pronunciation here.
I'm going to go with you on that one.
Okay.
All right, so whatever. At Lynn. They're 9-2. Lynn 10-1. But it's at Lynn.
Exactly. It is at Lynn. And that is a very tough place to play going there. Now, I will say Appalachian has a really good region, and their only 2 losses are to Locust Fork, who's in 3A, and Spring Garden, who's undefeated right now.
Whoa,
so
pretty good. Yeah.
Appalachian's got a really, really good football team. I just don't think they're as good as Lynn. So
right.
That's why I'm picking the Bears.
Yeah, I think Lynn is really, really good. I picked Lynn as well. Yeah, I mean, you're going to bet against Hastings, really? No way. So they have won. I think that's 3 straight years with double-digit wins for Lynn, which maybe that's never been done in school history. Another first.
That's right.
Like we talked about Corner and Winston County, another first. But it's hard to make a first at Lynn because they've always been good.
I will say, Lynn wins this. It could set up a matchup with Hackleburg.
It will be different.
Oh, it will be different.
Healthy. Hopefully they stay healthy. So,
hopefully, yes.
Help all these teams stay healthy, especially if they win. But we're both going Lynn on that one. And then Meek at number 1 Wadley.
Yeah, number 1 Wadley. And we were talking beforehand how it's kind of weird that the number 1 team in Class 1A is in the North region because usually the south of Alabama has all the best smaller high schools. But Wadley only played 8 regular season games. So they're 9-0 right now.
Nobody wants to play them.
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
Probably the truth. Yeah.
Meek is 8-3, 8-game winning streak. But man, it's Wadley, and it's at Wadley, and Wadley's a phenomenal team. So I think the
A lot of history.
Meek will play very physically. They'll be tough at the line of scrimmage, but it won't be enough, so I'm picking Wadley.
Yeah, if it was a better draw, that's a tough spot.
That's a tough.
Really. But hey, beating Hubbertville was huge. So.
Yeah, Hubbertville was a tough draw in the first round, and they responded well to that.
But going on the road to Wadley, yeah, I'm picking Wadley. Hopefully, Meek can keep that close. So, any other games you want to mention? Winfield's at home. I believe.
Winfield's at home. A lot of our local opponents are at home, but Winfield, they've got a tough draw this week with Sylvania.
Yeah, Winfield City, very tough.
Yeah, Winfield City.
Sylvania got them at home a couple years ago, I think.
Past 2 years, I think Sylvania's been there to break their hearts.
Wow. Okay, so after week 1, which team do you feel most confident in going to the second round?
It's tough because Winston County and Lynn, I'm very confident that they could make a deep run. And Corner's got a phenomenal team. But playing in 5A is a lot different. You have to face tough teams every single week.
Yes.
2A really looks like the clearest path for Winston County. Lynn's got they're in 1A. To reach a state title game, they'd have to play Wadley. That would be tough. Winston County, on the other hand, they've really got a clean shot at maybe making that 2A state title game. So I'm most confident being Winston County heading into this round, the next one, and the next after that.
I agree. And what's a real shame this year is Lynn didn't play Winston County.
I know it. That's disappointing.
They played Addison and Meek. So if they made a championship shirt, who would wear it for Winston County or Lynn?
It'd have to be Winston County because they went undefeated.
Yeah, so you're holding the Hackleburg game against Lynn? Okay.
You'd have to.
I think they could split it.
I would love to see it if you could rearrange a last-second jamboree between these two.
Yes.
That would be interesting.
Yes.
But we don't want to get anybody hurt
good
from the
team.
playoffs.
No. And Lynn, let me tell you, they lay some licks on people.
Oh, yeah.
They love hitting. Lynn loves hitting people more than any team I've seen.
See, that's when you know you got to get a football team.
Yes. I would not want to play them. All right, so I'm going Winston County as well, and it's mainly because the draw. Like, once Coosa got booted out, that really opened everything up.
It opened 2A completely up because it was looking like Coosa was going to coast to that state championship game. And 2A, without them, it's really a prime opportunity for Winston County to make some more history.
Yes. Boy, I love it. Yeah, and they deserve it over there.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to believe it was a 5-5 team last year.
Yeah. And they were close to breaking free.
Very close. They were missing Clemens. He played one game. And now I understand why that made a big difference.
I understand why that made a massive difference.
I didn't realize that when the season started. All right, so who are your top? Some 5 to 3 since we only had 6 teams playing last week.
Well, my top 3 going to start with number 3. That would be Corner. Been a great season. This week's going to be a tough draw. You seem to think they're going to lose.
Yeah, I don't.
Which I don't understand.
I have nothing to back that.
You have
claim.
No reason to back that up. So let's hope you're wrong on that one. Corner's number 3.
I think Boaz had played Scottsboro, and it's similar. It's a tough schedule for them too, tough region. But I also have Corner as my 3,
which makes me think that we might have identical top 3s here.
I mean, Corner. What Trent Campbell has done there, just incredible. And they lose people. They lost a bunch of people.
Then they moved up in classification.
Moved up a class, lost everybody. Boom, 10-1. So, yeah, I mean, what else can you say?
Yeah, there's absolutely
that doesn't happen. You can say. Very, very rare. All right, so is 2 Lynn?
Yeah, number 2 is going to be Lynn. Phenomenal season, 9-1. The Bears probably should win this week, but this could be a really good game. Next week sets up interesting matchups. Lynn's number 2, been a phenomenal season.
Yes, I mean, these 3 teams have great coaches. I mean, Hastings has a long history. He just wins wherever he goes.
Oh yeah.
He goes there, turns around the program, boom, they're winning. So, yeah, it's tough to go against Lynn there, but when your team's undefeated, Winston County's got to be the number 1.
Yeah, number 1, 11-0, historic season, phenomenal season. Caleb Simmons has done an absolutely phenomenal job up in Double Springs. The Yellow Jackets have a lot to be proud of in the past part of the season, and now in the future part of the season, the future's looking mighty bright. Yeah,
it's got to be nice to have a Clemens, a Kelly, and on another team, Rakim Moore will be the guy.
That's right.
He's third here, and he gets some time too. All right, so we'll jump to college, unfortunately. Season's not over yet.
We need to
start talking about college basketball because Auburn and Alabama look very good.
Yeah, Auburn and Alabama are both in the top 5. Going to be a very interesting basketball season. But you know what? We thought football season might be over for our in-state schools. And you know what? For a certain school that's on the other side of the state, it sure is. But
Troy.
for Alabama, definitely for Troy and UAB. I might have been referencing a team you love. I won't go into specifics there. But for Alabama, the playoffs, even a shot at the SEC title game, are still on the table.
Yes, and it's so fluid this year. Changes every week. So you lose to Vanderbilt, you're in the dumps. You beat Georgia the week before, you're way up here.
Right.
Then you almost lose to South Carolina and LSU. So Alabama just hammered. I don't even remember what was the score.
42-13.
I couldn't have told you.
So
that.
you didn't.
It was so
watch
bad.
It.
I went to go watch something else.
It was jealousy, is what it was.
My wife stays in there. I leave. I want to see a good game.
That was
once it got out of hand.
That was such a good game.
But yeah, I mean, just drubbed LSU
in the
just
rain.
Just drubbed them in their place in the rain at night. Just brutal.
That was the first time since he took over the program a couple of years ago that Brian Kelly has lost a night game at home.
Wow.
So
and to lose like that, I mean, everybody thought the game was going to be close.
You know, if Alabama would have beaten them in a very, very close game, then they would have nothing to hang their heads about. But it was 42-6 until LSU put together a touchdown drive with 11 seconds left to go on Alabama's backup defense. So it was an absolute demolition, an absolute destruction, and I enjoyed every second.
So Alabama's back.
I reckon so.
Now I wrote here, what's their path to the playoffs?
Went out. I mean, that's it.
So went out, then what happens?
You went out, might have a shot at a conference title game. And that's where the controversy kicks in. Mm-hmm. So let's say Alabama has to play Texas or Texas A&M. Crimson Tide are 10-2. What if they lose? They 10-3. Would that knock them out of the playoffs, or would they stay afloat? For any other team, I don't know what the college football playoff selection committee would do, but we've learned in the past that they really love Alabama.
Yes, they do. They have proven that over and over.
They have proven they love Alabama almost as much as they love Ohio State.
Yes, that's their favorites.
So I would not be too worried about that. But there's still a lot that could happen because let's say Tennessee were to beat Georgia this week. Then
that'll miss everything.
Then you've got Tennessee at the top of the conference, and then whoever wins Texas and Texas A&M would be playing them in a conference.
Then Alabama definitely is in.
Oh, yeah.
So their easiest path is Tennessee beating Georgia.
Right.
And chalk the rest of the way,
But would you rather play in the conference championship game, win and have the shot at the bye in the first round of the playoffs? Could be one of the top 4 seeds, most likely the 2 seed in that situation.
That's what we're not talking about, them actually winning. Actually winning the game.
Alabama would be favored, if not just for the logo on the helmets. Or the logo on the helmets.
The numbers.
The logo on the jersey.
It says, what does it say, 16 or however many
18 national champions. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll debate that with NCAA. But, just win. And that
just win.
So I like the way it seems like that off week, they did some things different.
Oh, yes. They learned when they went to Tennessee that maybe you should change your snap count when there's 100,000 people screaming at the top of their lungs, and that really served them well. Now, I will say, first play of the game for Alabama was a false start, and I sat there thinking, oh, no.
Here we go, right?
Again. And then it's 42-6 before you know it. So it was all good. Jalen Milroe, I went from thinking, Ty Simpson's not a bad quarterback to why isn't Jalen Milroe the Heisman Trophy favorite?
Did he put himself back in? Does he have enough time to put himself back into contention?
To be fair, last year he really didn't play well till the LSU game. He was dominant against Kentucky. Yeah. It was great. Then after that, he kind of tapered off. And yet he still finished 5th in the Heisman voting.
So yeah, he still has time.
He's got plenty of time. Of course, it opens up a whole nother conversation as to who might win the Heisman Trophy this season.
Jeanty, right?
Ashton Jeanty at Boise State. Could.
Maybe.
One of the great running backs we've seen in a long time. Oh, yeah, it'll all take care of itself.
He doesn't have the Alabama logo on his helmet.
Alabama doesn't have a logo on their helmet.
He doesn't have the Alabama numbers on his helmet. He plays on a blue field.
Yeah, the Smurf turf.
Yes. Better than that green field at Coastal Carolina.
That's teal.
Awesome.
Yeah. Eastern Michigan plays on a gray field.
Yeah,
makes you think you're watching the game in black and white.
I would not like to play on a field like that. All right, so we'll talk about another team. Auburn hosts Louisiana Monroe, and they have a better record than Auburn. But is there any chance they Mississippi State?
Starkville High School.
Oh, how's that? Mississippi State.
Starkville Middle School.
And it's a shame they don't. It's kind of like we talked about Lynn and Winston County didn't play. Auburn and Mississippi State didn't play.
It'd be ugly.
Be close, 7-6.
No,
not 3-2 again. But Auburn can't score is a problem. So Thorne is hurt, but he's going to play. Is there any chance this is a close game?
Yes, there's obviously, because last year Auburn lost to New Mexico State.
Mm-hmm.
So,
3 touchdowns. That was not close. I said close.
So it might not be close. ULM might blow them out. No, in all seriousness, Auburn should win big. Maybe Thorne won't play so much this week. Kind of rest him up for Texas A&M next week.
Oh, yeah.
But at least that game's at Jordan-Hare. Game's at Jordan-Hare.
If Carnell Williams came back and coached it like 2 years ago, I would love the chances because they were so fired up. But yeah, I think they win. That'll be 4-6 probably.
And then after that,
then they're 4-8 probably. Unless they can somehow beat me Texas A&M.
Would they fire Hugh Freeze after the season, even with
another year?
Class? Oh, he's going to have another year.
Now, does he start next year on the hot seat?
Possibly. Oh, yes.
Possibly, yeah.
Oh, yes, he's on the hot seat.
Well, you think take out the quarterback they have and put in a mid-tier quarterback, and they're probably
that's an improvement, right?
A bowl game. Yeah,
that's a massive improvement.
Single-handedly lost games.
Imagine if they had a really good quarterback.
Yeah, it's hard to picture.
So it might not all be Hugh Freeze's fault.
No, it just didn't. It just did not work.
It didn't work.
He's very scared out there, the quarterback. 5th year.
His 5th year.
And you got freshmen that anyway. For another time. So, what picks do you have this week?
This week, Alabama plays Mercer. Auburn plays ULM. So they're not on my
Mercer's
picks.
9-1.
Mercer's 9-1, but they lost to Samford, who's 3-7.
No.
So
wow, I didn't know that.
That's a worse loss than Alabama losing to Vanderbilt. No offense to Samford. I love the school. Great people. They have a good coach down there, too. But we almost got off on a tangent about Samford. Yeah. Let's go to Texas. Texas going to Arkansas. Kind of an old Southwest Conference matchup. It's at Arkansas, and we've seen that Arkansas can be dangerous. Just ask Tennessee. Does Texas have anything to worry about going to Arkansas?
No. Nah, they really don't. It's just too much. They'll throw for 4 or 5 touchdowns. Arkansas has had moments this year.
They have. They've had good moments.
And then they've had a lot of bad moments.
They almost lost to Auburn.
Yes, they did.
That's a bad moment.
And Auburn had a bunch of turnovers that game. But, yeah, so I think Texas will mow them down. Kind of like LSU did to them.
Okay, well, I think it'll be a really, really good game. I think Arkansas will be in it the entire time. But too much Quinn Ewers, and if worse comes to worse, Arch Manning's a really capable replacement. So you never can count Texas out, no matter how bad it starts to go, unless they're playing Georgia. But I'm going with Texas. Next game, poor Florida. They had just found a little bit of momentum. Then their top 2 quarterbacks get hurt, and they're playing with a Yale transfer, who's a redshirt freshman.
Wow. Did not know that.
Yeah, he struggled mightily against Texas last week. This week, he's got a motivated LSU team that just got absolutely demolished, coming to the Swamp. Is there any chance for Florida here?
No, there's not.
At least that was a good answer.
What about Lagway? Was there maybe? Yeah,
maybe.
I think there would be a chance. Yeah, if the way they played.
If DJ Lagway had not gotten hurt against Georgia and played that whole game, Florida might have won.
Yes,
they would have
had a chance.
They would have had a really good chance. And if he was playing this week, they'd have a chance. But no.
And I don't think much of Nussmeier. Boy, he got exposed last week.
He threw a couple of interceptions. If there's a linebacker standing in the end zone, don't throw it to him. Obviously, I will take it. I will take that any day of the week. But it was raining then, so we'll give him. We'll let him blame it on the rain. LSU, probably not going to be any rain at the Swamp. I'm going LSU.
Yeah, that's a big game for Florida at home. They have a chance to do something, but I don't see it.
Especially after they announced Billy Napier was staying.
Which I didn't understand.
Then they get hammered 45-3, I think it was.
It's funny they waited till after a win to do that. And now... Well, no, it was after a loss.
It was after a
loss,
Georgia.
But a close loss. Semi-close loss.
Semi-close.
Yeah, it's weird that they didn't wait till after the season to give them that.
Now, here's an interesting matchup. Missouri at South Carolina. Missouri was just handed a win against Oklahoma, which...
what a game.
Yes. I went out on a limb and said that Oklahoma would win. And then with 2 minutes left, Oklahoma was up by a touchdown. I was confident, had my feet up. They let Missouri go down and get a touchdown drive. So Oklahoma gets the ball to go down there and win the game on a field goal. And no, the quarterback fumbles, picked up by Missouri, run back for a touchdown, game's over. So
great game.
It was a good game for Missouri. Their head coach, Eli Drinkwitz, seems to think that they might have a shot in the playoffs.
I doubt it.
They have to go to the hottest team in the SEC, South Carolina.
Boy,
3 straight wins.
Tough. Yes, very tough.
So a couple of nice ranked wins in there too. At South Carolina, the Gamecocks are an 11-point favorite.
Wow, that's a big number.
That is a big number.
I thought when Auburn, when Pine played against Alabama, I was like, boy, this guy's awful. Maybe that was the Alabama thing, though, because he actually was okay last week.
He was okay.
Yes. So maybe that was Alabama defense. Maybe that was the deal. Yeah.
He threw 3 interceptions.
Yes. And he's not great, but it seemed like he got a lot better last week.
He improved. And I reckon having an entire week where he knew he was going to be the starter really helped him out. But still, you're playing it's at South Carolina. South Carolina has all the momentum in the world. You know, they just came off a win against Vanderbilt by 3 touchdowns at Vanderbilt.
Yeah, really good.
Certain teams in the state have not been able to beat Vanderbilt. South Carolina went and did it handily, and I think they'll do the same to Missouri. So give me South Carolina by a lot.
I agree. I don't know if it'll be close or not. I don't think so. Because South Carolina, boy, Beamer's got it going good over there.
He does.
You know? Yeah, great atmosphere, too. When they have a big game over there, it's a really good atmosphere.
You would not think they would have a great atmosphere, but they do.
Yes, I wouldn't mind going to a game there. Watch a decent game.
Yeah, it'd be a decent game.
Mm-hmm.
Final game, Tennessee at Georgia. Georgia all of a sudden finds itself in a situation to miss the playoffs. They are, I'd like to say, they're 7-2.
Mm-hmm.
They just got absolutely demolished by Ole Miss. They had a player celebrating on the field with the Ole Miss fans, which did not endear him to the Georgia fan base. And he was an Alabama transfer, by the way.
Is that right? Pope.
So, Jake Pope. But that's a story for another time.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, Georgia has to take care of business against a Tennessee team whose only loss was to Arkansas, which seems puzzling at this point in the season.
That was a great game, too. That was a great atmosphere.
So,
Arkansas.
If Tennessee wins this, that really puts them on a straight shot for the SEC championship game. If Georgia wins it, it's utter chaos in the SEC standings. What do you think?
I'm thinking Georgia gets back on track. Why not pick that? I have no clue. Because of what I saw last week was a disaster.
Yeah, Carson Beck,
what happened to him?
I don't know. I think the squirrel got on the field and it scared him, had him running away from it, and that completely messed him up for the rest of the game.
Well, he wouldn't like to go to Gamble Park.
Ooh, a lot of squirrels
everywhere. But
this is the squirrel time of year. It's when all the squirrels are out and about. So from Tennessee to Georgia to squirrels, you're picking Georgia?
I'm picking Georgia, yes.
All right, you're picking
Tennessee,
Georgia.
They've good. Yeah, I mean, they beat Alabama, but
that's actually a good win now.
Yeah, it is.
Didn't look like
now you're like, how did that happen? But yeah, they're kind of a sneaky one-win team. I mean, one-loss team.
Yeah, Tennessee has 1 loss, which is hard to believe that they've had such a great season. They've been kind of overshadowed. But I think that second loss comes this week. I have to pick Georgia just because Kirby Smart's the best coach in the country.
He's not going to lose again.
He's not going to lose another game in a row. It's not going to happen. Of course, I said they were going to beat Ole Miss pretty badly, so don't take my word for
crazy.
it.
I didn't see that coming.
But we're both picking Georgia.
Yes.
Might be right on that one, might not be. That's all I got.
Okay. All right, so that wraps up our show. So hopefully we'll have 4 more high school games next week.
I hope so.
Yes. At least a couple,
Right.
Hopefully. Maybe Corner can win, and Lynn and Winston County. And Meek.
Meek. They have a tough test, but they can handle it.
They can beat that team. It'd take a great effort.
It would take a lot of things going very right, which can definitely happen.
All right, so I want to thank Bevill State for sponsoring, and their basketball team is now playing. They're not in the new gym yet.
They are not.
It'll be January before they get there, but you can go watch them at Songer Gym, the old Walker High School, and they're pretty good.
Yeah, they had a 70-point win.
Yes, they beat one. They had 125 points in their first home game.
Yeah, they won. I think it was 125-54 in their home opener.
Yes, and they lost to a very good Itawamba team, but Billy Connor's got a great team going over there.
He's turning that program around.
Yes, in a very short amount of time. I think they'll be back in the conference tournament, that kind of thing. But get out and watch them, and that wraps up our show. I want to thank Jake for producing, Bevill State for sponsoring. Like and subscribe. That helps us out, and we'll see you next week.